Hi everybody, so what we're going to do now is create the final solution, and this is picked up from the developmental work that's been completed. We're after two views, so we need to show basically we can draw these out in 2 dimensions. So we start off with the crating technique. So what I'll do is start off with the actual blade head. Okay, so again, we're after scale and proportion. You'll sketch this out in your HB pencil. As I've explained in previous tutes, I'm using the black 0.1, I think it is, fine line pen. And all I'm trying to do here is get some idea of the scale and proportion of the blade. Okay, by just sketching this out, moving the page around. Now I know that I've got a tapered blade. So my taper's going to go from this end here, gradually down there, and about the same distance or so in at the other side. And I've got my sausage spiker that will be going in there eventually, and I'm just going to take that down to about there, something like that. Whilst I remember, I've got a slight angle on these ends, so I've got one in there, one in there, and I've got my blade ground at the end there. I've got the blade ground from there to there as well, and that runs parallel with the edge. Okay, I've got the sausage spiker in somewhere there, and again we can always create scrap views, and I may add some of those on later and show that in a further tutorial. What I am going to do now is get some sort of center line happening down the middle, because when I developed my blade, I did talk about, that's where the handle's going to go, somewhere along that line. I did talk about symmetry, and I've gone for a symmetrical design for my final solution. I mean, it's down to personal choice. We're going to have some sort of holes about along these areas here. Again, by using HB pencil, it's very forgiving in that you can erase them. So I'm running parallel with that edge there, somewhere about there, and I'll put my series of round holes. So these are basically different diameter holes. These are going to be used as a feature to drain the fat also from my cooked foods, or as the food's cooking. I mean, look, you could use initials and create a simple template, stick that on, or mark out with a scribe. You could do that, and just a series of small diameter to mid diameter holes to actually create a logo, even a Nike swoosh or something like that, or initials or something like that, or it depends really what you've done for your design concept, and that's where the tang's going to be. So the handle shape, and I'm going to rotate this because I would find it easier to try and get this handle shape. And I may go off slightly there, so I probably, rather than try and be clever about this, I need to just try and get some sort of parallel crate again to try and get some sort of width and proportion on my concept. Remember, you're trying to communicate this design. So these are finger grips or hand grips, giving me somewhere to clasp. Here we go. So I've come in there, I'm going to come in here a little bit and go out and round and I'm trying to get it as symmetrical as I can, but if it's not perfect, that's nothing major. And then from memory, I have a hole now in the top from where I've developed. So yeah, we're about there, I would say. So what I'm going to do now is project this down, because I want a side-on elevation, so I can see especially the shape of the handle. And I want to show the blade also the fact that it goes up at an angle, so you don't burn your knuckles on the hot plate. And if I take this, project these down, I know that my handle of this side view is going to start and finish between those lines. I know that one of my bends is going to be there. I know another is going to be approximately there. Okay, and the end will be approximately here, where I take this down here. I think that's probably about as good as I'm going to get, just picking that up there. So I'm going to start off with the blade. So this is, I'm going to draw this slightly thicker than it actually is, because I can't draw a line that's literally 1.5 mm thick, which is how thick the stainless is, and scaling it down even smaller. Then I'm going to take that up an angle, probably 55 degrees. Now, if I carry on this line here and parallel there, that's not taking my handle up at an angle, because I want my knuckles not to be below this line here. So what I'm going to do is where I've got that line there, I'm going to rotate my page, and where that comes down, I'm going to go up at an angle. So I'm going to increase that angle another maybe 10 degrees or so. And by taking that up, it's not parallel with that. So this angle here doesn't run parallel. There we go. And that, if you like, is the tang. Okay, so what I've got to do now is as that, you can clearly see now that goes up, I've got to create an angle here, and the same there, to simulate that, and then I can create up from here. So this line and this line are parallel. Not too bothered about the front and the back. I just want to get my handle sketched in at that angle, so it's clear to see. So I'm taking this up, just sketching lightly. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So you can clearly see that my crate runs up at an angle. And now I'm going to try and replicate. I've got a thumb groove in there. I've got this nice chunky back that I can get in the palm of my hand. I was going to bring that round there and then get something for my fingers to go into to grip, just in case they get a bit hot and sweaty or greasy. And bring that back round, something like that. Okay, something like that's about what I'm after. I'll turn the page that way. You've got a good idea there. The proportion is about right. And again, by doing it in faint construction lines, you're going to find that you can erase things out and so on and so forth. So when you've done that, you can then start having a go with your 0.2 fine line pen. And I would suggest that you start with somewhere like these circles, and you try to go around the circles as I'm showing here. Again, try and get that first row correct. Okay, you can have a go at where this fold line is here. So this is a thinner pen, and we've got a fold line here. Okay, work your way around these circles, and obviously this one here where I'm proposing it gets hung up. Work your way through that blade where it goes through the handle, and obviously we've got a thin line here where it's been ground on the whetstone. All right, and then when you've done that, take your thicker, your 0.5 or a pen of about that thickness, and then start working around the outside. So this will help make it stand out that little bit more, and it will take the eye away from the actual construction work, your HB pencil work, or in my case, the 0.1 fine line. Okay, now what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to pen the whole thing in this tube. What I will do is off camera, I will finish doing my fine line pen work. But just remember what I've said, please. Try and get the proportion as it's meant to be. Get that right. And then if it's not right, you know, use your eraser to help you, but get the proportion right. If you can buddy check it, get your pal to have a look at it, or maybe one of your parents to see what they think and give their advice. But pay particular attention to this angle here. This is going to be important in the manufacture, again, so that the knuckles that fit here aren't below this blade height here, thus burning your nails, your back of your hand, sorry, your knuckles. So there we go. That's the final design solution, or the one that I am going to actually manufacture. Have a go at that. Thank you very much for watching.